It is 7 o'clock, everyone. We are going to go ahead and start the Wayne Township Board of Trustees meeting for January 21st, 2025. Welcome, everyone. If you would, make sure you sign our log sheet in the back. I would greatly appreciate it. And so our fiscal officer. Can I have a roll call, please?
Yes, you may, Mr. Colvin, or Ms. Colvin,
I'm here.
Mr. Jacobs,
Here.
and Mr. Kaufman.
Here.
All right, you have a quorum.
Okay. Pledge of allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, so I need approval of the minutes from the previous meeting, January 7th.
With the adjustment? Okay, I'll make that motion. To approve
Go ahead.
the meeting.
I will second that.
There you go. Okay, voice vote. All in favor of approving the January 7th meeting minutes, say aye.
Aye.
And nays like sign, motion is carried.
Okay. Do we have any additions, removals, or disclosures from the posted agenda?
Yes, sir. I have resolution 2025-13 and resolution 2025-14.
Excellent. So, do we have any citizens' comments? Hearing none, we're going to move forward with our department reports. Good evening, Mr. Camry.
Good evening,
Go
board.
with you.
See, I'll, just got a couple additions to my report. Today I received the cost estimate for the chip seal and the asphalt resurfacing. I just got it today. It came in a little bit higher than what I actually calculated, but that's just an estimate from the county engineers, so we'll see what the bids come in when they go out to bid. I believe you've got a resolution to approve us participating in that program. Additionally, I also received the bid documents for the OPWC project from the county engineer, which we also have, you have a resolution on to put that out, advertise it for bid as well. So we'll do that. They prepared all the documents, we'll put it out and advertise it. Once you approve that, we'll put it, we can put that out and the county will advertise it on their website as well as ours. And the engineer that I spoke with that gave me the documents, they've got a list of contractors that they'll let them know so that they can bid. Other than that, the news of the day, Corwin Road has reopened. Thank God. Other than that, that's all I have, unless the board has anything they need to pass along to me.
Good job keeping up with the snow. That's the main thing.
It's been kind of tricky here lately, but I was out busting drifts prior to, just had enough time to go home, take a shower, get dressed, and get in here, so the wind will lay down eventually and all will be well, so.
Thank you.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Tell the guys, thank you.
Yep.
You bet.
Yeah, let your buddies know that we appreciate them.
I'll do it.
Thank you, Scott.
You're welcome.
Moving forth, we have our fire department report. Good evening, Chief Beckett.
Good evening, board. Thank you very much. Few items, our new members that we've recently hired are finishing up working through their orientation shifts, and we'll be starting to fill in the schedule in February. A couple of them are already filling, have been cleared. And we have a couple more that have started full-time jobs that will be coming back and filling in holes in the schedule. Engine 93, as you know, was on loan to the Miami Valley Joint Fire District. And its time away from home, Engine 93 made over 100 runs, including 4 working structure fires. It was returned in pristine shape with a full tank of fuel, and they did a couple of little minor repairs to it while they had it for us. So,
Good.
Wednesday the 15th, we assisted Massey Township with a structure fire in Hardinsburg. Crews did really well, put a good stop to that fire. Assistant Chief Lodge and I finished up the department's mission statement, core values, and vision statement. We sent that draft to all of you. to pull policies and procedures. I have a lot of policies to send you, so I'm gonna start sending you those in about five policy increments here over the next few weeks, so you can start reviewing those and sending me your comments. Do you want those in PDF form or Word?
PDFs.
Yes.
Okay. We had our phone consultation with our Safer grant writer. The grants have not opened up yet. It went really well. She had some additional information that we gathered for her and sent it to her. Tomorrow night's our department-wide CPR training. This is the first year that we're requiring all members to be CPR certified. Finishing up the year-end report. I should have it to present next meeting. Annual preventative maintenance for all the apparatus is scheduled for next week. Service was done on Station 91 HVAC, and some electrical work was done. In case you didn't know, the furnace in the administrative side, specifically the one over my office, was out and not working, so. And then yesterday, we had a small plumbing issue that we got repaired and taken care of today. That's all I have, unless you have any questions.
No?
None. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief, appreciate it. Moving forth, we have our zoning inspector report. Good evening, Stacy.
Good evening. As you know, tonight we have a public hearing at 7:30 from Miami Valley Roofing for an R1 PUD overlay for stage 1. We have some upcoming hearings next month. Jared Williams, the agent for James Arnett, has requested a rezoning from recreation to R1 single family for approximately 95 acres of land with the intent to subdivide. So that'll be before the zoning commission on February 6th, and it'll be before you, the trustees, on the 18th of February. And one other project I'm just working on is a business violation. I've made contact and they've established a deadline for moving from this property. It's sort of a larger company that's on a residential property right now. So working on that. And that's all I have tonight.
Any other questions for Stacy regarding her report? Hearing none.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stacy. Moving forth, administrator's report. Good evening, Gus.
Good evening, board. The fire department, we had our previous meeting here before this meeting tonight, and we got filled in with everything that we've been doing with Clemens and Nelson and Ryan Woodward, and getting up to date on the FLSA, and probably have a final report on that before the next meeting. Station 91 admins already been reported on. Properties, legal ad requirements and input from the prosecutor's office. They were submitted through the matrix portal. Bruce McGarry and I got a good weekend, almost a whole full week, probably 4 days worth of work in on reviewing all these parcels and doing deed checks and so forth. And then there's draft resolution that he's prepared whenever you're ready to proceed to declare each of these parcels no longer needed for use for township purposes. And then that basically gives me the go-ahead to then start working on getting each one individually advertised and so forth. And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, did I get that sent to you Thursday, Friday, or
I
is that somebody?
did see it, yes.
Okay. If you had a chance to review it, we don't have to prove it tonight, but I think I did make a copy of it if you do want to prove it tonight. It's not on the agenda. I have been in contact with several of the people that are neighbors or have interest in a couple of parcels. So I think probably before I actually do legal ads on those, I will touch base with some of those and try to get some interest and inquiries up. So it's just not put out and left out there and sitting without anybody having any knowledge that it's out there.
So I did send you that question back, whether we're allowed to, we have to just take the price in mind on the sealed bids, or if we could.
I went back and looked at that. I did not get any more clarification out of the prosecutor's office, but my thought on the way it reads is that we can set, when you have advertising for sale, you know, basically a base price, and if it doesn't meet the reserve or whatever, then you can deny it, or, you know, for any other reason that you deem necessary, the board can deny all submittals.
Okay,
So,
but could we take into consideration the future use of the property when we are making our decision?
I doubt that you could
Okay.
use as a
Okay.
justification for, you know, denying,
Or accepting?
yeah, or accepting.
All right,
You know, for accepting, if you get a partner or somebody you feel for the township that is gonna make the best use of it, then that would be if all three board members agree to sell one of the parcels to that individual, then there's also a majority vote, then we don't even have to go through the advertising process. And then it can just be sold at a negotiated amount, fair value amount.
all right.
Which, that, you know, we have a couple of those, that maybe, there's only a couple of people that would even have an interest in them, so maybe we'll go ahead and start contacting those people and letting them know that they're gonna be coming available and making, you know, see if they have interest in.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of the fire department, because I think we'd have some interest in that one, so.
Do have a couple calls that have come in on that just here in the last week or so.
Okay,
And I split the map up. The one thing that's highlighted on it, which I think I made in my comments to you, is that back parking lot at 122 South Main Street, the actual asphalt surface is not as wide as the parcel. There's about 3 or 4 feet that goes further to the south. And was advised by Mr. McGarry that we should get with the neighboring property and, if nothing else, come to an agreement and write up ingress and egress and have it recorded for use of their driveway going back through there. He says as long as they've been using it, you know, it's enough that he's almost certain that they would come down with some sort of legal action and try to close it off.
right.
Or if we sold someone, they try to close it off and we didn't close it, so.
All right,
Okay,
thanks.
Is there still stuff in the, old road garage?
yes. We got about 7 of the 9 bays with something in them, so.
Yeah, the old
Yeah, the
road.
road-
the
the
road-
Well, the road
garage,
garage, yes,
yeah.
it's still, yeah, it's still there. There's stuff in it.
Yeah, the school has not made any headway.
So maybe we need to let them know
We would have, so we're beyond it.
that. Have we given them a date at all, or?
No.
Okay.
Good or bad or not, the person that's interested in that property, I think that property could probably actually be transferred with the stuff, and that headache could be turned over to the property that acquires it, the
Okay,
storage and stuff on it. They're willing to work with the school.
Okay.
If it goes that way. But, you know, I'll keep bugging the school, but it'll be, I don't know when. Moving on, the annual census boundary update, that's been filed and submitted. And the public employees, the OSHA FERC, the 300 AP report's been filled out and submitted. And then it'll be posted on all facilities. I think it's by the end of maybe February 15th to the end of April, it's going to be posted. And then miscellaneous, the OTA conference next week. And I'll see a couple of you up there, I guess, either on Thursday or Friday. Brad, you were able to get in on?
We did both days.
Okay. And that's all I have.
Excellent. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Moving forth, physical officers report.
Good evening, board. So, obviously, we've been busy. We got all of our bills cut. The W-2s have been sent out, finishing up the 1099s. We filed with the state our annual fiscal board report, as required by law. And some of the other 941, those kind of other reports, quarterly reports have been filed. And then the SCU project is continuing on. We're getting ready to roll it out with the road department. We've worked out some stuff for them. We rolled it out within the fire department. I need to still get with Stacy on that piece of it. And then Thursday, they'll come and start collecting documents to do the en masse scanning. And then I've created a category list for them, for what buckets to put them in for our use. So kind of where we're at right now.
It's good.
Doing well. Doing well.
Okay. Any other questions for Scott? Hearing none.
That's good.
Thank you, Scott.
Yep.
Appreciate it. So we're gonna move on to old business, sale of properties. I know Gus just touched base on it. Is there any discussion that we wanna do tonight regarding that? Any other discussion regarding that?
The only thing I saw is that there's a couple, like Gus said too, he stated it too, is that some of them might not go as a sealed bid because the property owner is adjacent to it, so.
Yeah,
Okay.
so obviously there's the ones up in Mount Holly.
Mhm.
I think that's an obvious one that we want to get rid of. It's gonna be very limited. I'd say that's one, let's go ahead and get it taken care of. I know the neighbors already are mowing the property, so just.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's not costing,
us anything.
right, it is, well, as far as the road department, it's not costing me anything.
It's not costing any time or fuel or anything like that. We do go out there to the Light Oil Road one and we maintain it a couple times a year. So those are the two that I see that we could probably go ahead and get a head start on.
Road garage, Jimmy?
If you want
I
to,
think
that's fine.
if he thinks that
If there's only gonna be one owner
there's
or one person.
one person, then they may take care of
Yeah,
what's.
take care of the three easy ones all right now, let's
Yeah.
move on to the big one later, yeah.
It's fine.
Well, I was going to do a little more checking on that one to find what a reasonable price for that is.
For the old road garage?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
There's
Let's see some
probably
off on it,
several
then.
businesses I know that are around that are kind of interested in it also.
Okay.
So it might just be a preference on whether I want to go with the original concept house or not.
Do you have that one as a sealed bid on your resolution, the garage?
I don't think that one was.
It's on the same page.
If he's still got more work to do on the garage.
Yeah, if he's, I don't wanna, we don't have to push anything.
That's
Okay.
correct.
Do you wanna
Okay, we'll just
save it
table it.
too?
Okay.
Just table it till the next
Alright.
meeting, first meeting in February. Okay, any other old business?
I have none.
Okay. Questions or concerns of the bills? Did anyone, well, we're still
We're
working.
still working on
Still
it.
working, so we'll get back to that. Okay, so we got 12 minutes for our hearing, so let's go ahead and move on to legislation. We have resolution 2025-11, resolution to certify the 2024 Township Highway System mileage to the Ohio Department of Transportation.
No change,
I
right?
don't think there is anything.
No,
we need to-
we didn't gain any mileage this year, so it's just staying pat, and this is an annual thing that we,
There's a certificate, it's 43.474, and I think Scott, there should be two of these down there for them to sign. All three board members have to sign Ohio Department of Transportation sheet.
I only have the resolution.
Yeah, okay. Send that down, you guys can sign. You
So,
sign one, I
you
can
make-
make a copy.
So I need someone to make a motion to adopt resolution.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2025-11.
I will second.
Okay, roll call. Ms. Colvin?
Yes.
Mr. Kaufman?
Yes.
Mr. Jacobs?
Yes.
This resolution is hereby passed this 21st day of January.
Here's the tax sheet. The other thing.
Okay. It's down. Okay.
Next is resolution 2025-12, a resolution declaring FLSA overtime for fire department employees at 212 hours for 28 days. Any other discussion regarding this?
No, we discussed that last meeting, so.
Yep.
I'll make a motion to adopt resolution 2025-12.
I'll second that.
Okay, roll call vote. Mr. Jacobs?
Yes.
Ms. Colvin?
Yes.
Mr. Kaufman?
Yes.
This resolution is hereby adopted this 21st day of January.
Next is resolution 2025-13, authorizing participation in contracting with the Warren County Engineers Office for Warren County 2025 paving, striping, and chip seal programs. This is something we've been doing for a long time.
Yeah, in order for the county to
Get us into
bid
the
it
price.
out for, you know, our mileage that we're gonna chip seal and put asphalt down, we had to pass a resolution saying that we are going to participate.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2025-13.
Second.
And is the dollar amount gonna be just added later then?
What was that?
I was just asking if this dollar amount's gonna be added later.
It's just giving us participation. It's, we're not gonna
Leave that blank, Scott, she's got those, I didn't have time to add up the estimates.
Oh,
think
I
we're-
can
I think
do
we're
that.
basically 325, put 325,000. I think it's one's 206.
One's 202.6,
107.
and the other one's 107.
Still got little numbers.
So if you put up to 325, we should be covered, and with any luck, it'll be way under that.
All right. So roll call vote, Mr. Kaufman,
Yay.
Mr. Jacobs,
Yes.
Ms. Colvin.
Yes.
This resolution is adopted the 21st day of January 2025.
Thank you.
Next is resolution 2025-14, authorizing the advertisement of sealed bids for the OPWC Corwin Ave Resurfacing project for Wayne Township. Any discussion?
Okay, like, so we've got all the final documents in, there's about 180 pages, and we have to, just change it. I gotta tweak a few little things on, and we'll be ready to go out for bid. So this resolution authorizing me then to go out, and I think I put in here to be open, yeah, March 4th, 2025. So we'll get those out, the 1st of February, and leave them out there for 4 weeks.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, I make a motion to adopt resolution 2025-14.
I'll second that.
Roll call vote, Ms. Colvin,
Yes.
Mr. Jacobs,
Yes.
Mr. Kaufman.
Yes.
This resolution is adopted this 21st day of January 2025.
So we're gonna come back to 2025-15. Any other new business?
One other item, I guess, for new business, and we're gonna do in their correspondence is, we got time here for you?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, we did get the statement in, our annual statement from Caesar's Creek Friends Church. And basically, I guess to summarize it, that investment fund has made about $4,000 over the last year, which 2,000 of that went to LCNB Trust Fund. And our balance year-to-date is $137,380.60. And that started back in 1990 something with about 64,000, so it's just real barely over double.
Yeah.
And we've only withdrawn out of it once, I think, and we can only withdraw on the one time a year, on the investment's interest that was earned in that particular year. The trust fund has reached out to us previously, about 3 years ago, to come in and talk with them and see if there's a better way we want to possibly invest in that. So typically, it's about 2% is about the highest we've received. But it's not enough to really do anything with, so if we get time, I mean, stop down and talk to them and see if there's something else they recommend that we do.
Any other new business? Hearing none. Correspondence? Okay.
I do have several donations that I would like to record. I'll have to go back to my office and get those. I don't think I
Okay,
have
we'll
that.
come back to them. Elected officials' comments? Stay warm. Stay warm. Be safe.
I don't have any tonight.
Okay. Work session, no more executive session. And we're gonna sit here and recess for 4 minutes.
Okay.
We'll let Diane sign some.
You need to sign
Documents.
something. This one's been-
Oh, thank you, thank you.
Yes. Wait till you get inside all this.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah, February 2nd. Yeah, that was just to give us some time to get organized.
Let's graduate already.
Well, yeah, much people have a lot of overtime. Well, I mean, not even your referred to.
No.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Graduating already.
Well, that's all. Just-
You wanna work with me again?
Asking Scott.
Huh?
You wanna work with me again?
No. No, but I believe everybody deserves a chance.
You want to sign
There
my petition to run again? Is my signature helping you? Are you a registered voter?
Yes.
Oh, yes, it would. I would appreciate it, yeah.
You can't even sign your other paper.
I already did.
Did you?
That first.
Actually, we need another one too, because my phone had it grabbed the Ohio Township Association, not the Warren County Township. It's Warren.
There's two of them. That's good.
So let's see.
That's all good. It's good seeing you guys here though. Yeah, I like it. Yeah.
Oh, I'm going with
Oh, yeah, you're first. We were here since 5:30, so you can see a whole bunch of it actually. I mean, you can see that part of it. Yeah, that part of it's decorative. Oh, yeah. That's good. Yep.
Okay,
Yep,
well,
absolutely.
may as well fill it all out.
Oh, yeah.
Can you just say like ditto?
Oh, yeah. And I'm supposed to witness all of them too. I appreciate you guys signing me up. Thank you.
How are you? Okay, are you doing?
It's crazy because I remember sitting here on the
See,
zoning board
this
stuff
was
like
your
that.
spot.
I think it was.
That's why I was like, you're sitting in Andy's spot.
It's been 10 years there.
Oh, God. Boy, that's a blast from the past.
Okay. Because I came in right when you were switching over to your road superintendent, right? Or you just did.
I became road superintendent at 12,
Yeah,
January
that's
1.
when I came in 11 or 12, yep.
Yeah.
That's sweet. Thank you guys, appreciate it. Huh? You did? You did that? That's good. Oh, that's good. Hey, that's better than.
I've only got the one card.
I'm not complicated.
What did you say?
Hey, I'm easy going.
You don't have
Gave me a couple more of these, I probably.
Hey, well, you need that one.
Technology.
Well, I guess we need that one signed.
Yeah, so I'll still work here.
Yeah, oh, yeah, yeah. I'm not saying don't do that.
You got both of them?
It's
I guess you do.
And then he sends it to you, and then you'll send me that notification.
When you approve it, it just automatically comes to me.
I'm
So do I need to still be on?
like,
Approve it?
You'll have to, when he uploads it, it's a workflow over ACL.
Okay.
And then we just approve it, and they come to Wayne.
Andy, Dan.
You guys ready?
I know, I think for the award, you're granted, you have to show up.
Everything I appreciate that.
Donation.
I got a couple checks.
Donation.
The two new employees, they're not set up.
Oh,
I
okay.
think
Okay, we are going to go into the public hearing. It is 7:31 for rezoning Miami Valley Roofing PUD. So Wayne Township Board of Trustees shall come to an order at 7:31 for a public hearing that was scheduled for 7:30 on 1/21/25, which is today, for a rezoning application at 8820 Bellbrook Road, R1 PUD overlay. Stacy Lowen has a PowerPoint to share to explain the application and the reason for this hearing. So the order of proceedings will, everyone has a right to speak either in support or opposition and ask questions. However, to ensure an orderly hearing, we ask that before speaking, you state your name and address for the record, and time limits for each speaker will be set at 5 minutes. First, we will hear from the applicants, then the proponents, then opponents. The applicants will be given the opportunity to address any concerns raised after all have spoken. Are there any questions from the board? Okay. So, go ahead, Stacy.
First, I'll start with the aerial view, and I apologize tonight, the Warren County mapping system has been down for 3 or 4 days now, so I have this only shot that I'm going to show you, the aerial. So just to start off, this will have no further buildings as part of the application. So kind of what you see is what you would have on the site. This pad here that's towards the back of the property, that is where there's actually an accessory building now. That was when they were just putting in the floor for that building. All right. So the process for review for this amendment is that the Warren County Regional Planning Commission met on December 19th. They made a recommendation to approve the request for an overlay, which I will explain. The second stage was the Wayne Township Zoning Commission public hearing, which was on January 2nd, and they voted 2-1 to approve. They made a few changes to the conditions, which we will also take a look at. And tonight, you are the decision-making body on this application. This is at 8820 Bellbrook Road. It is just over 5 acres, and the future land use on our map is rural neighborhoods. The current zoning is R1, and they're requesting an R1 PUD overlay to allow a roofing business to continue to operate at this location. The PUD proposal document, which is part of the application, so it's 2 pieces. It's the PUD proposal document and a conceptual site plan. Those are the documents that lock him into a particular use and standards and the entire way that this is allowed to be used. So the PUD proposal document has prohibition on any further development or buildings. There's standards in there regarding employees on site and hours. And the conceptual site plan shows you the areas that would be remaining residential and so forth. There would be a more specific site plan later if he moves beyond this stage. They have an existing single-family home, which would be allowed to be maintained under the PUD proposal. It has Waynesville water, and I did say the next step would be PUD Stage 2, which is a preliminary site plan with regional planning and the trustees. I went over that already. And I'm gonna pull up the recommended conditions. This will take a moment because the computer doesn't always, oh, it's gonna work tonight. So I don't, these are all of the conditions that were either made by the Warren County Regional Planning Executive Committee or, and then the amendments from the zoning commission. If you'd like me, I can read these, or you can just refer to these as part of your, motion. They're contained in the resolution if you choose to approve. But more or less, some of these just have to do with, putting in landscaping as part of the stage 2 site plan, having some reviews by Warren County Engineer's Office, and also having a professionally drawn site plan for the PUD stage 2 site plan as well. The zoning commission wanted to have that be professionally drawn as opposed to just the more sketch level one it is today. And there's also the stormwater, and there's some changes recommended to not allow any signage, and also to limit the hours of operation to 7 AM to 6 PM from what their application had originally stated. So this, like I did mention in there, this is in order to allow them to continue to operate on this location. It's not a rezoning, a straight rezoning like to B1 or B2. It's an overlay with specific restrictions. And that's all I have. Well, of course, I can pull up the site plan for you. That gives you an idea. The crosshatch is sort of the residential area, and it shows the existing buildings are on the site. 2 of the buildings are relatively new. I had issued permits for those in the last couple of years as residential storage. So it would be as is.
So can you explain to me, I see the PUD. So what are some things for the general public, for why not zone it as a B1, B2, or something to a different degree? What zoning would that be under for this business?
This would be a PUD overlay. So when they came in to work with me after, we kind of tried to come up with the most restrictive way that they could continue to operate there. And straight rezoning is much more open, so if you gave this a B2, for instance, somebody could come in later and put in, a store, or put in any type of thing that's allowed under a B2 with site plan approval. With the PUD, exactly what they ask for in the proposal document is what they get, and that runs with the land, and so they can't change it without, somebody couldn't come in, and I'm just making something up, open up a dentist's office or something without redoing the PUD.
The
So
only
it's
thing that
much
somebody could
stricter.
come into would be another roofing business.
Right, the way it is. So it's the strictest way to allow them to continue to do what they're doing.
And how did it come about that, did you get a complaint or something, or how did the whole thing start?
I had a complaint originally about the building on the southern boundary going up, and so I contacted them about that. And then I did get a complaint later on about business activity, and I did note when I was making the zoning permit applications, zoning permit, it's up that this property was in an LLC name, so I was pretty sure that there was business going on, but we are complaint-based, and so once I got a complaint, then I would drive by and note activity, and also their website.
Okay.
So that's how we kind of got to this point, but they were good to come in and, apply and work with me once the letter did go out, so.
Okay.
Anything else from trustees to Stacy? Okay. So first, we're gonna hear from the applicant, so if the applicant would please step forward, please state your name for the record.
Is he good?
Yeah.
Are you?
Good. I'm Anthony Payton. I live on 9000 Bellbrook Road.
And I'm Ryan Decky, I live on 5648 Chenoweth Road.
Okay.
So, basically the reason we're here, I would say in most cases, somebody wants to, change things so they try to get to a commercial zoning to build whatever, or start whatever business at a different property that's zoned residential. So, we're here because we were operating our company out of this location. But we were asked to come here to do this because what we were doing, we couldn't do it the way it's zoned now. We don't want to change anything at the property. We don't want to attract any attention to the property. We don't want to put a sign out. It's in the PUD that we can't, but we never wanted to before. We basically use the property for storage for our equipment and some of our materials. But we own a contracting company that is, all of our jobs are on job sites throughout all of southern Ohio. So we don't actually do any of the work on site. It's more for our trucks, equipment, and things like that. So, it's very low traffic. We don't have people coming in and clocking in there and working ever. Outside or for the roofing crews or anything like that, or our gutter crews or stuff like that. We have one employee who mows the yard, but he mows the grass when needed in the summer. Besides that, he's out on job sites as well. So, I live right there behind the property. I don't want to bring businesses to Bellbrook Road. I'm not trying to do anything like that. We don't want to have a storefront or any kind of busy, commercial operation going on. It's just very convenient for me because I live there. He lives right around the corner. We own the property together. So, we both grew up here in Waynesville. We started our business in this town because we wanted to bring that to this town. We do a lot for the, the community, the schools. Both of our kids go to school at Waynesville. So, having our business based out of Waynesville is important to both of us because, we are from here. Yeah, that's another reason, we wanted to do the PUD because, we wanted it to be specific for what we do, keep it very, out of sight, out of mind, that kind of thing. So that's our goal anyways, so. I don't know, you want to say anything? Yeah.
So who lives in the house, or what's going on with the house?
We've just been renovating the house. We plan to turn it into an Airbnb. We don't really want to have anybody there living there full time, but just have it as an Airbnb to generate some revenue.
We do use a couple rooms in the house for more office work, just computer setup, desk, printer, things like that. He's internally in the company, and I'm externally. I'm out on job sites all the time. He's in there doing all the paperwork, estimates, things like that. So that's a couple rooms in the house used for that. Most of the rest of the house is just room by room being renovated. It's a very old farmhouse. We started on the outside, got it looking better first for the, for the area. It was in pretty rough shape when we took over the ownership of it, but we got the outside looking clean and the way we wanted it. So now we're starting to work on the inside, a room at a time. So.
Yeah, the outside looked good. I drove past it the other day as well. So the one thing about myself, materials coming in. How do you guys get your materials? You guys store it in the facility? You bring in 18-wheelers in, or
Well,
you guys get it yourself and bring it, or how do you guys do that?
our distributor actually delivers our material to the jobs on site. So
Okay.
we do keep some material there just in case like we run out of things on the job site and we need something, but it's minimal amount.
It's all overflow. It's left over from job sites, so
Okay.
we put it in a pickup truck and bring it to the barn.
So there's no deliveries, so
The
to
only,
speak?
the only thing that gets delivered is maybe once a month, a box truck comes in with gutter coil, because we order all of our gutter coil in 4 rolls. And then we spin it down ourselves and take it to the job site. So once a month, we do a restocking. So
So what are the buildings used for then?
I'd say so the very back building, 50% is personal stuff in there. I mean, there's me and his belongings in there, then the other 50% is just material stored in there. Wood, and then the building on the far right, the second newest building, it's the same, about 50% is personal storage stuff, and the other 50% holds our gutter material.
Okay.
And then our equipment and trucks sit in there.
Yeah, we want everything to be parked inside, I mean, this is before the PUD even came up, me and his own personal rule, everything parked inside at night, nothing out, everything closed up. Because again, you know, we can appreciate people wanting it to look nice over there and not attract attention as a business, so.
Yeah, because when I looked on like Google Maps, there was a bunch of stuff you could see stored back in that
The
back
back
part.
right,
Most of that stuff was whenever we were having the barn built. So those
Okay.
current images are showing like the
Okay.
trusses and lumber and stuff. I mean, on top of that, we have 2 bobcats. I mean, we own the property right behind it, which is 55 acres. So we have a total of 60 acres. We have 2 bobcats. We have 2 brush hogs. We have all kinds of attachments for our stuff. So some of the stuff you're seeing is our equipment that's outside. Which, I mean, that's all agricultural.
You're right, right.
How many trucks do you have, outside their business, really?
So we have,
Outside or
On site?
oh, on site? I mean, in the evenings, there is,
so for the business or all, like,
Yeah,
personal?
you said you keep business trucks there.
So we have two trucks we have 1 box truck for our gutter division and 1 pickup truck for that division, and then we have 1 pickup truck for the roofing division that stay on site. But they are parked inside every evening. And they're actually not even there during the day. Our guys come and get them and then they go to job
But you
sites.
just said people that clock in and clock out.
They don't clock, all of our employees are 1099, but I'm saying they don't work there at the 8820. They don't work there. They go to jobs.
But they come in the morning and pick up the truck and go, or whatever.
Yes,
And leave their vehicle there.
yes, but again, we have to make them park inside, so.
How many employees is that right now?
Gutter,
How many trucks are we dealing with?
3.
So you let your employees park their vehicles inside the barn?
In the barns, we just try to keep everything,
Okay, I'm just,
yeah.
So what's the worst case scenario of your property being busy? Like, just give it to me, tell me what is like, are you gonna have like just a mass training session there at any time? I mean, I just need to know. I think the residents wanna know, but if you just say, what's the busiest that you could ever see your property being?
I mean, I would personally think that the busiest you're gonna see the property is whenever we're doing our personal stuff out there. I mean, on January 6th, we had a snow day, and all of our families and friends were out there. We were enjoying the property, snowmobiling. I mean, a bunch of people came over, and, people could look at that and confuse that as business operations, but that's not. I know there were some recent complaints that came in about the activity out there, but we haven't even installed a roof in 4 weeks. There's been 0 traffic out there for any crew-related anything. So, the activity you've seen out there lately has primarily been personal stuff. So, I think you have to set that aside, but let's say the busiest that you'd see it on a working day, I mean, 3-4 people in there top, I mean, at a given time.
so to piggyback what Brad's saying too, and this goes with Stacy as well. So you're saying you're down for 3-4 months, right? Because it's wintertime stuff. Like, what's your alternate business too? Do you guys have any other plans in the wintertime to pick up some of the lost revenue possibly? Or are you thinking anything else? Or
We
is there
have,
potential, you know what I mean? Because you're talking
Snow
about snow.
removal or, yeah.
Snow removal, stuff
Yeah.
like that. So that'd be a different part of it that's,
yeah, I
you know
mean,
what I mean? Those are things you're just asking those questions.
Yeah.
You're a business person, right? You're trying to figure out how you're gonna make money, how you're gonna try to move things around and do the things.
so Miami Valley Prime,
Mhm.
we own Miami Valley Prime, but Miami Valley Prime owns this property and a bunch of other properties,
Mhm.
but we have real estate. So we have rental properties that
Okay.
we manage and maintain, but, I mean, it doesn't really have anything to do with the roofing. So, I mean, we're generating revenue year round,
Okay,
so, by that.
that's good for you guys.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but I'm just asking about the property, see if there's anything.
Yeah,
else.
I mean,
So-
typically you'll see roofers that do snow removal and salt lay down and stuff like that. We have no plans to do that. I mean, outside of me and him getting in vehicles, I wouldn't trust people and the liability behind it. I don't want that stress. I got enough stress with what I deal with now, so, yeah.
So when you were, because you bought this in 2021, is that right? The property, I think? Okay. Was there other properties you looked at in order to purchase, you know, knowing that you wanted to put a roofing business in, whatever you buy?
This actually just kind of fell in our lap because we bought the 55 acres right behind it. And we were doing land improvements, putting in the pond, because we knew that both of us would move out there one day. And then the Kings, I don't know, seems like a lot of people are familiar with them, but she had passed away, and the people who inherited it, they just walked over one day when they seen us out there talking to the excavators, and they said, hey, we're gonna sell this property. And I mean, the opportunity presented itself. We weren't looking, and but we thought, you know, we're probably never gonna get the opportunity to buy this again if we pass up on it now. So we just said, well, we can buy that property. There was, I mean, 2 barns on there before. They were in really, really rough shape, but we thought, well, we can store, you know, our equipment and stuff in there, kind of free up space from our personal houses, and, you know, start working on the house, so.
So I'm sure you thought, if we say no, what's your contingency plan?
I mean, yeah, I mean, you know, we're business people, so, I mean, we're gonna do something with the property, I mean, but what can we do with the property that there's no restrictions on? I mean, something agricultural. So, as far as the business, I don't know. I mean,
Find some in another location, I guess.
Any other questions for the applicants?
I'm good. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen, appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
So next, we're going to hear from the proponents.
How y'all doing?
Hello?
Good.
How are you? It's a
It's
long
been
day.
too long.
I'm Greg Danke. I live at 9642 Kenrick Road. So, same last name as one of them over here. But I'd like to speak on their behalf on a couple things. First of all, it was the winter of, I think, I don't know, 9 or 10, the last really, really good snow that we got. Ryan asked me if we could go out and scoop some snow. I said, well, why don't you call your buddy Anthony? I'll take you guys out and we'll go. These guys have had an entrepreneurial spirit since they were in high school. I'm very proud of what they've done, the business that they built, their drive, and their integrity in their business. They have, you said you drove by the property the other day. When Ryan was thinking about this, he said, hey, I want you to come and take a look at this property. And I said, oh my gosh, the house was in major disrepair. The property was, I'll call, horrible. I had no desire to purchase it. You know, I looked at it and I was like, oh my gosh. So if you look at it now, the buildings that they put, that I think they've made 100, if not 110% improvement of the house and their improvements in the property, and that just goes to their integrity and those types of things and the way they do their business. I know they sponsor a lot of things in town, and I encourage them to continue to do that. They put a new roof on I think it was a baseball concession stand here a year or so ago, and so they're always looking to do that, and I'm very proud of them to do that, especially as a father. To see your son and his best friend to be successful in a business like that. To answer one of your questions, the traffic that you'll see out there. I can tell you that it's a running joke between Ryan's mother and myself. I work in New Vienna, so I can come home and I'm over here, so I can swing by their property and go through. I think I stopped by in August, I stopped by in October and November, and there was nobody there. I walked in and I was like, Ryan, you know, where are you guys? So I stopped by there just on a whim in an afternoon on my way home from work, 2:30, 3:30, 4 o'clock, and nobody when I drive through and go on about my way. So again, I would encourage you to look at what they've done in the community, look at what they have turned, just their improvements into this place, and grant this wish, or this petition for them. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Any questions for him?
Do you have any questions?
No, no, we're good. I appreciate
Are there any other proponents?
that. I'd like to speak.
Okay, hearing none. Are there any opponents? Any opponents that would like to address the board? Opponents?
Yeah, I'm gonna talk.
Good evening, board. Dave Alpers, 7964 Mount Holly Road. I think you all know me. I'm not necessarily for or against this, but I'm choosing this time, I guess, to speak about it. As a member of the BZA, we see a lot of things like this. I think this would be considered a forgiveness PUD, meaning that, hey, we built this barn, we've run this business out of this, but we got caught. Okay? Now they're here to ask for, I'm gonna use the word again, forgiveness. Okay? A lot of large barns. I know there's not any neighbors here. There's nobody else that I see would probably speak against it. I'm just reminding you that this will open, I believe, a can of worms for other people if they find out that, hey, this guy did this and then asked for forgiveness, okay? Again, on BZA, we see a lot of things. Stacy can vouch for me, and I think you guys can too. We get these occasionally like this, and people are always against it. We get crowds when somebody comes in to say, hey, I want to start this business at this location. We've had lawyers come ask for it. In fact, I was actually surprised that Mr. Arnett is trying to split his lots after he complained and hired a lawyer about a recent rezoning that we did on 73, by the way, for the people who didn't know that. So, again, I'm not necessarily against this or for this. I just want to remind you that it can open doors for people in the future if they know or see this happen. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dave.
Can I, just one comment?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure everyone understands that the accessory buildings that they have there all fit within our zoning code. Those are not out of size or the number, those are all conforming to the zoning.
And they got permits for
And
that?
the two of them I issued permits for, they're over 5 acres, and so there's no maximum footprint for accessory buildings. There's a maximum number, and they have the maximum number, but otherwise, it is definitely, it's
So,
in the
the
zone.
one thing I saw, Stacy, is that there was, Warren County had 2 nays, and then we had, even on our zoning board, had 1 nay as well. So I was kind of curious to see some of the background for some of the meetings there.
I can explain, so
Go ahead.
the regional planning, that's a mistake on their decision letter. It was however many 4, and it was 2 abstentions because Jeff and
Okay.
Gus were on that board. So they just put that in the wrong column, and then the zoning commission, our no vote was Jeff Palmer. And he expressed a similar, he doesn't like the ask afterwards. And he had some questions about, sorry, I just had the minutes here. He expressed, he wondered how they got that far without asking about the zoning, before they put their business in, and then, you know, that same idea of coming in after the fact for approval. So those were his main, concerns. And the future land use map.
Yeah, but it's all R1 out there. And there's nothing, the future land use map doesn't have anything out there that is, I mean, there might be,
Right, I mean, it's
Nothing.
all, rural neighborhoods is the category for future land use, but, I said it was 2-1, so on that.
Any other questions regarding the phones? Okay. So applicants, this is your time to address any concerns that have been raised.
You know, he brought up the point about, you know, asking for forgiveness and, you know, what repercussions, I guess, could come from, you know, if this is allowed to go through, but I think you also should consider looking at what repercussions could come through of not approving it, because I went on Google Maps today, and within a 1.5 mile radius of where we're at, there's 13 businesses listed in that area. Counted them, on Spartan Lane, Chenoweth, Bellbrook Road, all the way over. So, you know, what is being done for those businesses that are operating, you know, out of those locations? And anybody can do it. Anybody can go on Google Maps and zoom in and look. You know, we pleaded our case and where we're at, and you know, we don't want to change anything. We just want to be able to operate, continue to serve this community, and you know, anything.
I got one, I mean, you addressed it, but I guess the question I'd like to ask both of you is, why, to the point that was brought up about the forgiveness aspect of it, was there a reason why you weren't more proactive in getting this brought up to our zoning department before, I think maybe she addressed you, or what? I mean, I'm just wanting to know that.
Yeah, I mean, I would say probably just being ignorant to the process. I mean, being very honest about it. I mean, again, if you look and you see the other businesses, you know, what do you consider a business and what do I consider a business? You know, when I think I'm walking through town, the storefronts, and walking in and a retail shop and be able to go buy and pick something up off of a shelf. I mean, that's what I would view a business. I mean, you know, what we're doing, the way that we're operating, I viewed us as a business, but not as like a storefront. So when I think of zoning in a commercial place, I think of a storefront, and I did not view our business as a storefront. Now, getting into it more and going down where we're at, yes, I was not aware of the zoning codes for Wayne Township, which I spent a lot of time reading it now and got into it. But is it something I wish that we would have done and maybe probably been more proactive? Yeah, absolutely. But, you know, we weren't out to get anybody. We're not out to, you know, try to pull something over somebody's head. Just our views of the way that what a business was did not align with what you guys viewed it as.
Thank you. Did you have anything else you wanted to add? He's gonna speak. Okay. Board, are there any other questions that you have? Okay. So we're gonna close the public hearing. I need a motion to close the public hearing. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to close it.
Okay, Diane made the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Excellent.
Voice vote, excuse me, voice vote to close the session. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays, like sign, motion's carried.
Okay. So we have a resolution presented to us, resolution 2025-13. We have two options.
The number changed.
Pardon me?
The number changed.
It's 15, isn't it?
It's 15, 2025-15, sorry. Thank you, Andy. So we need a motion to adopt the resolution and go on with the PUD with the changes that have, and the recommendations that have been set forth, or we need a motion to not go forth with the PUD, and we also have a separate resolution for that, correct?
So you have I gave you both versions, the ones that have all the conditions on it.
two versions.
Will that have discussion?
Yeah,
we can have
That's the one that's still in here.
So that is what is before us.
Right.
Do you guys want to put the one up to be able to say whether it's gonna be adopted or not? I don't know why there's two.
There's two, one's to deny, one's to
And I
approve.
just did that because there's so many conditions on the one, and it just is easier to have two other than the.
Did you guys see all the different resolutions of 2015 that are the individual parts,
Yeah.
pieces?
I saw when Stacy presented it earlier.
Well, I can tell you the biggest thing for me, I'll start it, I guess, but Dave brings up the best point of all, is that we see a lot of people wanna come in here and they wanna create their PUDs, and the PUDs open up a lot of different play with it. It is more restrictive for the zoning code and stuff like that, but it is a thing that we teeter with back and forth a lot of, right? You know, I know we had that one weird attorney in, where they came in, they said that they had it all lined up with the church, and it never came to be, and I know that's my first lesson in the PUD. So, you know, to me, I've seen good and bad with it, but again, it's one of those things of opening up a case, and then, like I said, just speaking of this case, not looking at anything forward or backwards or anything like that, so. And it's one thing that I take in consideration too. I mean, you could be the best person out there, best business out there, stuff like that, but it always comes down to the fact of what our residents want and what they, now the thing, I don't see anybody here in opposition of it. And I know there was people there in opposition of it there, am I correct, Stacy?
We had some people with some questions at
Okay.
the last hearing. I'd explain one woman who was concerned about, she didn't want it to be rezoned, but then we were trying to explain that this rezoning locked them in, it wasn't a broad rezoning,
Mhm.
so. But I don't know that there wasn't really anybody complaining about, or complaining to say they didn't want it at the hearing. I get a few phone calls here and there, just asking about traffic, and like I said, they have an explanation, they said their family's there, so I wasn't judging that every time I hear something, it's exactly, they know the whole truth, you know what I mean, but if somebody calls and complains, like, I have to at least listen and take into consideration, but if those people were here tonight, they would have heard him say that, they had family over that week.
I think for me, you bring up the point of, other people have businesses, you can find them on Google Maps and all. I think that there is, we know there is people that do that, but they live at that residence. They might be running a tax consulting, some sort of thing where there's not necessarily employees coming in and out. I know you live right next door though, so it kind of, it's like,
It's right there, because the
it's
property
right
goes
there,
up to
right,
each other.
exactly.
But that is one of the differences, we have lots of home occupations, but like you said, you can't have employees, and you
Right.
can't have storage and trucks and all those things, and that's what makes, that's why this is a PD rezoning request as opposed to a home occupation. So we don't regulate we have standards for home occupations, but they are different because they're very limited. So that's why you'll still see business names, because they are businesses.
Right.
And that's the thing that I struggle with too, right? You guys done the work to make the property better, right? Went out there physically, seen past the property before, up and down Bellbrook Road too, right? I've seen that stuff. You guys have made for it. That's why it makes it such a hard decision, is that, one, I got PUD possibilities in here, and I've got the work you guys have done to create that property and make it a special place, right? That's what we have. That's what we're trying to debate about here, you know what I mean? And talking about the PUD stuff, so.
With the stage two, if we said yes, then stage two is just, more of a site plan.
Right, it's a much more detailed site plan. It has all these standards that have to be met to the extent that they apply, and then it goes back through regional planning and then back through you again.
Okay.
So, you know, you can tighten things up with landscaping, those are all just kind of
That's where
somewhat
the lighting
indicated
and
on
all
this
that
plan.
stuff, and lighting and all
Any,
that stuff.
yeah,
comes
any,
in,
everything
yes.
is, you're right.
I didn't see too much with the lighting part of it.
No,
Plus, the hours
I
supposed to
know,
be
but
at
that's, I'm just
6
saying,
p.m.
when we went through Bentley's and everything, there's.
So here's a question for you, Stacy. So if it got approved and they violated part of the contract that's here, like we had with the one property down there in the corner of 73 and Township Line where he parked his cars off the lot.
It's a zoning violation, so it's the same idea, it comes through, you get a violation letter, you don't respond to the violation letter, you get referred to the prosecutor's office. That's procedurally how any violation would
It's still
go.
complaint based.
Yes,
Yep.
so everything's
Yep.
pretty much complaint based.
Correct, we're not going to have to look for stuff.
Right.
Okay, so as the board president, I will make a motion to adopt resolution 2025-15 with the proposed R1 PUD overlay stage 1 rezoning with the following conditions that are stated here on this resolution. They have 1 through 8 on there. That is approving it. Do I have a second?
Who's gonna-
Pardon me?
I always thought he wanted me to scroll.
Yeah, I did on the thing, it didn't work. Fails.
Are you the one controlling that?
I don't know where they want me, tell me where to rest.
You're good. Like I said, stage 2 is just basically from the recycling anyway, you're going buffer yards and stuff, you're not doing. It is what it is.
It's just called preliminary because the final one is a stage 3, and then they have to bring their completed site plan from phase 2 back to me to certify that it meets the requirements.
Yeah, we're waiting for something.
It's fine, you're fine. You want you to make sure you have a good solid answer.
I'll second that.
Just wait till we put it down.
So I have a motion by Mr. Kaufman, I have a second by Ms. Colvin. Scott, can you do a roll call?
Roll call vote. Ms. Colvin?
Yes.
Mr. Kaufman?
Yes?
Mr. Jacobs?
I abstain.
Okay. This motion's passed this 21st day of January 2025.
There you go. Okay, going back into our regular meeting.
They'll just call me.
You pretty much got through it.
Yeah.
Nope.
Huh?
What are we missing?
We have Mr. Edwards.
Oh, that's right, he had some, that's right.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Are you ready for this?
Yes, go ahead. Gus?
I'll turn these over to Christoph. We have some memorial donations from Glenn Smith funeral. We have a check from Richard Elliott. And a check from Alexa Schaefer, and we have $80 in cash, or excuse me, $60 in cash. Check amounts were 50 and 25. Just to accept those on behalf of Wayne Township Rescue Squad.
Thank you.
Thank you, residents, for that
Thank you.
donation.
Yep. Oh, thanks, sir.
Anything else? Or-
We cannot close out the meeting
Oh,
because
that's
we
right, we're
adjourned.
still signing, okay.
This all our scholarships contested.
Yeah, we haven't signed them yet.
Oh, we haven't signed them yet.
We have to make a motion on bills that we haven't signed yet. Andy hasn't signed on it.
I know.
Just noted. Just a paycheck. I think I have our bill signed.
Jason,
Did you say he moved to Ashland Road?
Yeah.
The what?
No,
Cash
he's
was just
saying-
from the funeral.
Oh,
You said the cash was just from the funeral, right?
Lisa.
There was no name.
I mean, I almost did it.
A little backed up tonight.
Little back up. Fiscal officer. Come on.
That's my giant bearded Sasquatch.
Baxter, do you want, Baxter, would you like for me to sign your scholarships?
Information out of these people.
It's like, all right.
That was made children's book about Sassy the Sasquatch.
You can see that.
You're on video.
Thank you, guys, appreciate it.
Thank you.
So the one is the OTA, right? The OTA.
OTA, yeah.
And then the one I gave you was WC. WC.
WCTA, yes. Maybe they'll allow some video submissions and we'll get the full.
There you go.
Although that's kind of anti-township message, but.
She has like a massage place, they put a big building type thing, and your house is where, on your way out. Yeah, he's a big demonstrator.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. But they,
Was
she
that
has like the trees out there.
weather related or
And
anything?
you get out there and rent.
On the station, yeah, because it was wide open, it's just a straight air filter on that.
I was gonna tell you that it's,
I know, but I'm just saying, then you're gonna have, so.
You're fine.
Well,
The one I referred to is it's like you've done a great job with the property.
When it takes, yes.
Oh, I don't. Once again,
I'm really happy that Andy pulled the arrangements. He told us Dave Allen.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that was fun. I hope I don't have to do that.
Told Dave Alvers, he did that on, I remember that. He used to sell the work again.
Right.
Until he got a vote already.
Right.
Aaron, I know where it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know,
What are you talking about?
The one that did the guns. Older guy.
Oh, Art, yes, Art, yeah, Art and Scott.
Yes.
Right.
I guess I'm gonna keep making these.
And then you guys.
There's a hole in Plymouth, but
It doesn't,
Are you
yeah.
registered? No, okay, you're not 18 yet. Okay.
So what, that, like,
Yes.
or that, well, was that
Those
your?
guys are on,
That was, oh, that was.
Oh, okay.
What's the kids out tomorrow?
Not right now.
All right. Thanks for coming, I hope you learned something. Yeah.
You mentioned Airbnb.
My problem
Like
was,
we were back at
plumbers doing plumbing.
the thing that turned me was the fact that
You know, I was teetering, I was teetering.
Since he did that, I was like, and I.
In Army, I was standing
I don't know if I
right,
get a second chance to talk, but when.
but nobody was vehemently opposed to it.
Businesses that have a pond that size.
They basically just didn't understand the law. And and if it hadn't been for the fact that they owned up
I'm shocked.
to doing it and then around on the back, but they owned up to it, they admitted.
Our last
And
meeting.
that's what made my
We
wrong,
had,
that's what
our
changed
last
me
meeting we
my
had
mind.
was for Alamo State, where they're running a business, even though there's no sign, just candles and stuff, and I know this, it was, I can picture this. No, they sell stuff, I guess online or whatever.
Right.
But the mom lives in the back of the barn, the separate barn.
Okay.
They also have a separate garage.
Right.
From the house. Mom
So, but no, that was, I was standing right on the top of the board's nest, I was the goat.
It would have been better
Chief?
with it if
You're right,
they
Bob,
lived
you're
in
just-
the house, like there's two
Run
in the
address,
house.
just as the business, okay? The reason they needed
No, they wouldn't
the,
cover much. Training hours, I guess.
BCA, wasn't really.
Well, I give you
I mean, I'm
one.
not saying it, I would
Everybody
say,
needed to take a loan, and
I mean, the truth is the truth.
said, this is a second resident. And they were, and
But no, when they owned up to it,
within
and
Not to
you
it.
know, they basically said they were.
You guys got property.
Oh, I owned up to it, and they were trying to do the right
So,
thing.
so anyways, it was actually a two-part.
This is the path that
We
said
said
the code leads to, or leads down.
allowing.
And once they did that,
That's
then
what
I
could.
mean, I still
Like,
struggle,
they sold
but
it.
but I.
Okay.
For 10 years. Mom's go back to 94.
They sold it.
Oh, yeah, I took 10 years on
It's a
it.
10-year limit.
Recess is
We've never
over.
done that
They got-
before.
That's not a bad idea.
They got blizzard warnings, right there on the Gulf of America.
Yeah.
Guess what?
Everybody get signed, I signed everything.
Back there at Louisiana, right on the Gulf.
We're gonna,
Two of them.
you're gonna be staying after class.
My buddy,
Okay, so part of new business, questions or concerns of the bills.
No, I'll make a motion to approve the bills that we signed.
I will second that motion to approve the bills presented for payment.
all right, we'll do a roll call vote. So, Mr. Coleman? Mrs. Coleman?
Mrs. Coleman.
I don't know, I keep saying, Ms. Coleman?
Yes.
Boy, twice in one night.
Mr. Kaufman?
Yes.
And then Mr. Jacobs?
Yes.
All right, the motion's carried.
Are we gonna have to make a crib sheet?
It is
It's just a memo on it.
That's right.
8:24, any other discussion needed?
No?
Nope. Okay, 8:24, make a motion to adjourn this meeting. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor for adjourning tonight, say aye.
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 Any nays, like sign, motion's carried.
Thank you for watching.
Jacobs.
Have a good evening.
Yeah.